Welcome back, everybody, to First Ring Daily, where, Paul, did you buy anything yesterday?
I did not.
Yeah, Prime Day.
It's bad timing for me because we're going away Friday.
Hmm.
And the worst thing I could possibly do is buy something and have it not arrive by Friday.
Yeah. And I also like to point out that everybody who made all the jokes that Amazon should just run on Azure, I'd like to remind you that Azure likes to have its own problems on its own.
Yeah, I love that viewpoint. We're so immature, all of us
Yeah,
collectively.
we all are. It's
You know?
it's good times, but I mean, Amazon essentially created a very friendly DDoS attack on their own servers by announcing this ahead of time. I mean, you see
Right.
what people do on Black Friday. They have no problem quite literally killing people to get save
Hmm.
$10 on a TV at Walmart. And so you let them just click on a screen and more are going to show up. And they did. And they crashed. Yeah, they
I
crashed
look.
the
You
site.
got to give these guys credit. They have created Christmas in July,
Hmm.
and the entire world is doing a Prime Day thing now because of
Yep.
this. Prime is Amazon's thing. Like it's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
For example, the Microsoft thing. You buy a Surface laptop, buy a Surface Book 2, get a
Hmm.
free Surface dock. That's an incredible value, by the way. It's like $200.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that Amazon is doing that is really smart, by the way, is since Toys R Us is dead, they are going to
Hmm.
put out a toy catalog around Christmas time.
Yeah. I'm old enough to compare that to the Sears catalog, right?
Yep.
Because they used to do seasonal catalogs. I'm sure they had like spring and summer catalogs too, but
Hmm.
the holiday catalog, whatever it was called, I should know what it was called. It was like gift book or something, or it had some kind of cool name, but it had all the normal Sears stuff in it, but then at the back it was all toys. And for a kid growing up in the '70s, like I was, it was just the day that thing arrived, it was like almost as good as Christmas.
Yeah. And announced this morning, actually, kind of tying into this. No surprise here at all. I can't imagine why they didn't choose a competitor. But Microsoft is what I almost called them.
Microsoft.
Microsoft and Walmart are teaming up
Hmm.
to use some AI and other magicry to help you buy more stuff online and align your needs to products using AI and machine learning and all that good stuff. I can't imagine why Walmart didn't choose AWS. Just no idea why.
um, yeah, it's funny. It came one day after Microsoft made a statement saying that they were not going to get into the grocery store business, which was obviously a shot at Amazon, which had bought
Right.
Whole Foods. But Microsoft has a number of initiatives underway to help retailers automate the checkout process and so forth. And this is a potential area of great growth for Microsoft because no retailer would ever trust Amazon, nor should
Mhm.
they.
Yep. I mean, Amazon just whiffs at a market, and that whole industry freaks out, and
Yes.
stocks just tank. And
Yeah. This is what Microsoft used to be like,
yeah,
Go computing came along in the early 1990s, and Microsoft was like, we're going to put this right into Windows. And that thing went right out of business. They didn't put like real pen support. They had some baloney early on, but they didn't put real pen support in Windows until 2002. It's
mhm.
like a decade later, They just
Yeah,
destroyed that business. This is what a company at the height of its market power can do. It's incredible.
yeah. Just like Netscape has a bright future still.
Yes. Love those guys.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm not going to take this down a political bent, but under the
Mhm.
current administration, nothing will happen. But I believe at some point here, there's going to be some
A
shakeup
reckoning.
between Amazon, Google, and Facebook. Personally,
Yeah,
I don't think
possibly
it'll
with
ever
Apple
happen to
too.
Apple because they just have one product. But
Yeah, but that's how you get a monopoly. I mean, we'll see. Apple has already gotten into a little bit of trouble with the iBooks thing, which is kind of interesting.
mhm.
Um, Literally tomorrow, the EU is expected to issue what could be a landmark and record-setting antitrust ruling against Google for Android. That's going to be very interesting. Short term, I think we have to lean on the EU for these things.
Yep.
But yeah, at some point, this stuff's going to have to be regulated.
Well, at
You
some
know?
point, Amazon could quite literally just eat the world. I mean, if there's one company that I solely think could take over just about any industry at this point, it's probably Amazon. They may not be able to get into the auto industry, but anything in retail they could take over. Anything that can get shipped to your house, they can
Yeah.
effectively own.
You know, I talk sometimes about like time compression, right? When you look at markets, the speed gets faster and faster as you move
Hmm.
forward in time. And Microsoft was a dominant power for many, many years. And then Google and Apple and then Amazon all kind of came along. And there's these little smaller runs that are occurring right now. But I used to say of Google that Microsoft had never seen a competitor like this. Like this was a company that, by virtue of the fact that his huge advertising business, could just give stuff away.
Yep.
Like, how do you fight that?
Yep.
Poorly, as the answer may be. And I just thought, it's fascinating that a company like Google could even exist, and that this is what's going to help bring down Microsoft. What's more fascinating, just a few years later, is that I didn't see something like this happening to Google now, but it is happening to Google now. Amazon is to Google what Google was to Microsoft, and it happened like right away.
Yeah.
And so I sort of don't want to say something stupid like, we're never going to see this happen again, because that's what I sort of thought of Google. But Amazon is such a unique company with such unique strengths. I'm at the point now where I wouldn't doubt their ability to do anything.
Except maybe build a smartphone.
Yeah.
But they don't need one. They don't.
That's what I was just. Yeah.
They don't. I'm looking at like 6 Amazon devices in my house right now.
Yep, they found a back door, and the interesting thing about the smartphone market, that's another I think, good example of that time compression thing is, smartphones destroyed the PC. The PC was around for 30 years plus, in whatever form. I don't think the smartphone era is going to be even half that length. I mean, I think as ambient computing kind of happens, our need to carry stuff around with us is going to go away. It's going to happen, I think, a lot more quickly than people realize. But Amazon is obviously a major player in that field.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch as that company. I mean, I could even see them building laptops. I mean, there's a lot of laptops. Yeah. Granted, some of the super high end ones, but a lot of them can just be white label products. An Amazon Basics laptop that's $350 with a low end Intel chip and a.
I can't believe you just said that aloud, dude, because now that you've said that, it's going to happen. And Amazon could like single-handedly destroy the PC market by doing this, just getting rid of it. They could have like a Chromebook, a PC, they have a couple of each, whatever, but a couple $100, and it's going to relegate the PC to what it's sort of becoming anyway, which is the secondary device.
Don't mind me. I'm just shorting HP, Lenovo, and a couple of other stocks real quick.
Yep. They could do it. There's no doubt.
I mean, my wife and I... And I don't think we would do this, but eventually we will buy a new mattress. I don't know if it's going to happen next week or next year. It's going to happen at some point. But there is an Amazon Basics King mattress for like $290.
Yeah, you could buy 3 of those for the cost of the Casper mattress I bought. So how crappy could it be? It could be pretty crappy. But
well, that's the thing. It's like I don't mind. I mean, I buy Amazon Basics cable. I don't mind. I don't mind buying the lower end stuff. But when it comes to sleep. I don't want to regret that decision, because then I will just regret life every day after.
I have been obsessing slightly over my sleep results every night. I got to tell you, the past 10 days or whatever it's been, almost not quite 2 weeks, I have categorically slept better than I have in years. Like, and I can see it in the app. It's not perfect. Like, I still have some bad nights, like every once in a while or whatever, but it's astonishing, like the quality, the uninterrupted nature of the sleep that I'm getting now is just, for me, it's like a life changer almost. It's important.
Would you say it's as life changing as Skype 7 to Skype 8?
I'm gonna have to try it again someday. Yeah, but I will tell you this: today is not that day. It's too raw right now.
When it'd be a great time is when you're in Sweden, because what could go wrong?
Actually, I gotta figure this out, because we're flying Norwegian, and I usually bring 2 laptops. My wife will bring a laptop, and I was going to bring the Surface Book, which has the Insider Preview on it, and then I was going to bring the Lenovo Yoga X1, the Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Yoga.
Yep.
Which is just running 1803, but it's just kind of one of those low cost, you can't bring much on board kind of airlines, and I'm thinking I might just bring the one. And I have a feeling that Skype 8.0 is on there, because like I said, this thing went on multiple computers over the weekend ahead of their announcement. So if that's the case, I'm going to have to go back and fix that. That's the last thing I need. With all the problems international, you have no idea how good the people's Wi-Fi is yet.
Yep.
It's always something stupid like, 100 megabit down, which is fine. 0.5 up. You're like, no, I'm here for like 3 weeks and I can't do podcast effectively. So we'll see. Yeah, that's what all I need is one more thing on top of that.
Yeah, well, you know what? We look forward to your struggles. We'll be here for you.
You're going to get them.
And so when you're talking about the new Lenovo, were you talking about the L4830 you just reviewed, or is there a different one?
No, this is a different one. So the Lenovo, or I should say ThinkPad is a little bit like BMW. They used to be like a couple of models, and now there are a ton, and it's kind of hard to tell what they all are. Historically, I remember before they had the X series, they had the T series, which was stood for, by the way, thin and light, and those things are like an inch thick now. Eventually, they had a T series with an S on the end, so you'd have like a T400S, and that was like the slim version. Not quite Ultrabook class, but kind of getting in that direction. And then eventually the X series came along, and those are the Ultrabooks, and those are the ones everyone wants. But those things are really expensive. So for mainstream business users, they have this. I think they used to call it R series, but now it's called L series. And it's basically something that delivers on all the good things you like about ThinkPad, but it does so at a lower cost. And so it's a plastic body instead of that kind of carbon, magnesium, composite, whatever. And they've cut corners in some ways. It's a little thicker. It's a little bit more like that T series. It's probably even a little thicker still, but you get the full range of ports. You get the awesome typing experience. You get the awesome dual pointing experience. You get the awesome fingerprint reader. Downside, thick, heavy, bezels and whatever. It lays flat, which is really cool, especially in the cramped airline I'm going to be on. I can watch a movie with the thing standing up in front of me or whatever. Not that I'm bringing that device, but the other one will do that too. So the point of this though is it starts at like $675. The version I reviewed was about $1,000. I'd probably go closer to the 1,000, but for $800 to $1,000, getting a ThinkPad is pretty impressive. So it is sort of like that entry level BMW kind of thing. Good BMW is going to set you back 50, 55 grand. You can get one for 30 if you want, and the one you get for 30 is the L series from Lenovo. So it's good. It's the type of thing I would buy. Just because it's a good value, and I'm cheap. Good value. I don't have any money, that kind of thing.
Says the guy going to Sweden. Although I know you're doing a home swap, which is actually the right way to do these things. One day, I will convince
this
my
was
wife
literally my. Yeah, I mean, 15 years ago, probably now, my wife came to me and she said, "I have an idea about how we can go to Europe and do it for cheap." I was like, "I'm listening." And it was the home swap thing, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." You kind of cut out the big expenses, which are eating out every single day and staying in a hotel.
Yep.
And you can stay in someone's house. You go to the local markets. You buy food, because you live there. You're there, so you go food shopping like you do normally. And you get to experience the place as if you were kind of a local, which is really cool.
Yep, we will see. My wife keeps talking about wanting to go back to Paris. I'm sure we will go there at some point. The kid needs to be a little bit older.
She's just turned 4 or 5.
5. Yeah. It's not that I don't think she want to enjoy it. Right now, my big concern is her just being able to walk for miles and miles and miles and miles.
I think I shared this with you, but the first time we went to Paris for our home swap, Kelly was probably 5. I'd have to kind of do the math on that, but she was roughly 5. We had a stroller for her, probably for that reason. Yep. And does she remember that trip? Probably not exactly, but she has memories of it because, of course we've done it. And she's grown to really like travel. I mean, I would say you're right on the cusp of.
Yeah, it's my wife actually specifically said she wanted to do it for her 7th birthday, which is fine. Reason why she brings it up now is just we got to start budgeting and planning for all that stuff, 18, 24 months out to make sure that we can do it. If we do it, we go right. And
okay, this is kind of a weird conversation to have here on the air, but
why not?
Yeah, so I'm thinking about writing this up. I'm not an expert in this at all, but of course there are people who do this all the time. And it's this kind of thing where you get credit cards and you get points if you spend a certain amount in the first 3 months or whatever, and then you move on to the next card. My wife and I this year have done that, I think on 6, maybe 7 credit cards so far. Mm-hmm. And the idea is, you get the, whatever it is, the Chase Vantage, blah, 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 awesome card. Spent $3,000. We just put our normal expenses on it. You pay it off, obviously. You're not going to pay interest on this. That's kind of ruins the point of it. You have to pay it off. You have to, and then you stop using it. And then you get points. You get points toward an airline, like we've done it for Delta and United and American. You get them toward just their own little thing inside, like we've done that with Citi, with Capital One, with Chase, which is the best one, actually. American Express, same thing. And then you can use those points to buy travel. If you start doing this now, you will be going to Paris for free, and you'll probably be able to do it within 6 months, actually. But to give you an idea, like our home swap, we booked the tickets before, before we did this, and it was the expense of those flights, because they were expensive. Where I finally said, I said, look, we've been talking about doing this. Let's just do this. We're going to regret not having done this sooner. So we're going to Berlin on a side trip. Those flights and that hotel is free because it's on the points. However we did it, I don't remember exactly. We're going to Paris. Speaking of Paris, that trip is free. Flights and the hotel. We're going to Dublin now for a work trip. Mary Jo and I got invited to Dublin by Aidan Finn. Sorry, Aidan Quinn is an actor.
Yeah,
that's not the person I know.
Yeah.
But Aidan Finn, and they're going to pay for my flight. But we booked the flights together on a points thing through Capital One, I believe, $600 a piece. So they're going to pay for mine, but we are getting literally a $600 credit back on our credit card statement because we booked travel through the card. And her flight will be free. And so we are going to get whatever hotel we get because they're going to pay for 2 nights in a hotel. We have to pay for 2 other nights. I don't know what the hotel is yet, but I can assure you that hotel will also be free. So just by virtue of not spending any more money than I already would have spent, I just described 3 trips, which are not quite literally free. I think there was we had to pay taxes or something on 1 flight of the 3 I just described. I don't remember which one, but it wasn't the most recent one, so maybe Paris or something. It might have been $200, but flights and hotels, basically for free, and for spending no more money than we normally spend. This is a no-brainer. I don't feel like I'm enough of an expert to write about it quite yet, although I feel like I should mention it.
Yeah, I'd be real curious. So our kind of flight strategy is, so I have a Delta credit card, and every time we do work trips, I've just been dumping miles. I just get miles on that. And so the current idea is that we just don't use any miles until then. We would get maybe at least 1 flight for free, maybe 2.
But do this. You probably already have it. I don't remember which one. It's not my wallet anymore, but the Delta Sky Miles card. Do you already have this?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So when you get that, you get like a 60,000 mile bonus. And I think you get, I don't remember, it's different per card, but when you add someone else to the card, you often get a 5,000 or 10,000 mile bonus for that other person.
Oh, I haven't looked at that yet.
So when I went to book the Dublin thing, the very first thing I looked at Delta, because I always think back, the best non upgraded flight kind of experience I had was the time you and I went to Amsterdam and we booked the Comfort Plus seats on Delta.
Yep. And I dropped a
and I always have this. Guy. Yes, right. I just told someone that story. That's funny. Me and the woman were clutching each other, watching as you did that. It was amazing. But that was such a great experience, like just the quality of the seat and everything. So I went and looked. I went through everything I could to try to do this on Delta, because I was like, I really want to go to Europe on Delta, because of that. And it just didn't work out. It was like 1 flight from JFK, which is a 2-hour drive from here. It was awful. And Stephanie came down. She goes, why don't you just do the Capital One thing? We got like 60,000. It's $600 worth of travel credits, 60,000 points. And that's what we ended up doing. So we're flying for free. Like it's unbelievable.
And the only thing
I still have all those Delta miles
that I really have to add to this is that so one of the benefits that Paul and I have is that through our company, we expense everything personally and then reimburse the company reimburses us.
That's
So
right.
that gives us a lot of flexibility on just putting money wherever we want, and then company pays it off essentially. The credit card that I have, I get one every July. Well, it starts over in July. I get 1 domestic flight for free if I buy another one. So when we go down to Orlando again, my wife and I were talking about this, seeing if we're going to go back to Disney, because the company buys my flight. My wife can fly for free, and then it's like $300 or something to get my kid down there. Or we could use miles, which we probably won't do, but I'll probably end up paying it. And that's, again, a simple travel hack where you just have 1 card. So
all kinds of strategies. I mean, regardless of where you are in life, you should be getting cash back somehow on something. Like, for example, if you shop a lot at Amazon, you get an Amazon credit card that will do that. You get, it's more lucrative if you spend it at the place. Like if I did book the Delta flight for this thing, I would have used the Delta card because there are advantages to doing so. Our kind of go-to card, the one we're going to keep that we've had for a long time, is the Costco card because you can get gas at Costco. It's super cheap, and you get like whatever 3x or whatever the number is, and they have like promotions where certain types of purchases are higher cash back. And I don't remember, my wife does the Costco thing, but I want to say, I don't know if it's quarterly or twice a year or whatever, they basically send you a check, or actually it's a Costco credit, but you can go to the Costco desk and they give you cash, which is what we do every time. It's incredible. It's dumb not to do this. And the issue is, there's some management overhead to it. You have to actually pay attention to it, right? And this is the thing my wife didn't want. This is the reason we didn't do it. She was already stressed out from managing the finances, and she's like, I can't add this additional layer. And I was like, no, I will help you with this. This is something we need to do together. It's we travel enough that getting literally thousands of dollars worth of money that can be used toward travel. By the way, I just got a phone call that was not a spam call. Is super valuable. Yeah. But getting cash back to some degree, you don't have to travel. Like just getting cash back every time you spend money is, if you were going to spend it anyway, I think makes sense. You can't run balances, the point isn't to run up credit or credit debt. It's to, just change, maybe change the way you spend so that like we used to always pay with debit cards. We thought we were so smart. We're paying for stuff. Yeah. But it's just, I don't know.
Yeah. See, anyway, this is very much a tangent aside, but I was just looking because typically we stay at Hilton's, which is not, please don't roll your eyes and say, oh, Brad's saying it, like Hampton Inns, like those types of things.
Hilton. Yeah. They own multiple properties. Family,
and I've got a decent amount of points with them, but I'm like, I look at their credit card and it's no annual fee, 100,000 bonus points after you spend $2,000. Like that could very easily be 2 nights in a hotel in Paris.
There's, one of the things I'm going to keep is I've been trying to figure out the flying thing from here because it's kind of a nightmare, and it looks like I'm probably going to be on United most of the time. So lucky me. Yeah. But the United credit card, which is one of the first ones we blew through, if you keep it, you get priority boarding every time you fly.
Yeah, that's how Delta is too. Yep.
I'm keeping it. I need that. That priority boarding is, aside from just the seat, is the most important part of the whole flying process to me. I cannot stand being the 1800th person on the plane, and I carry everything on. If I don't have room in the bin for my stuff, I'm screwed. So that's huge. And you just mentioned the Hilton thing. We did Hilton and we did Marriott for the cards, and same deal. You get, they have their own loyalty programs. I think in the Hilton card, you're automatically upgraded into their whatever their premier thing is called. That gives you upgrades. You talked about something like a free flight every year. You get like free stays every year on these cards. These things. You have to kind of balance it. Like some of them, like one of the most lucrative cards you can get is a Platinum American Express card. Yeah, but that thing has a $500 annual fee. Right. So how does it justify that? Actually, it kind of does. It automatically gets you into the premier level of, I think, Marriott and Hilton, or Hilton and one other chain, maybe Hyatt or something, I don't remember, and a bunch of other perks, whatever it is. We haven't done it yet. To me, the $500 fee is like, they don't waive it the first year. But anyway, this is a whole field of research to be done here. It's, but again, it breaks down to the point where it is a no-brainer. I think most people, assuming you don't have a bunch of debt already.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you have credit card debt, that's not going to help. That's you're nobody's.
Yeah, you can't. Well, you want to be
win, but
you want to go into this with good credit. You want to go into this with the right understanding that you're spending money. You're not buying stuff. You're spending money that you're already spending. You're just spending it differently. Yep. Because you're putting it on a card and then you're paying off the card. You can't put your mortgage on it, at least not easily. It would be stupid to do that. I don't mean stuff like that, but just the normal. You go food shopping. You go. Whatever it is you do. Every time you go to a restaurant, don't put it on your debit card, put it on the credit card, and then pay it off at the end of the month.
There you go. You got any, there's...
I know, sorry.
Name of the show is Amateur Travel Hacks, but it's good. I mean, this is, if you do the right preparations, you can travel the world for a lot less money than than
Yes.
spending up. The biggest reason why we started looking at this is cash up front to fly myself and my wife and my kid on the preferred flight, best options or whatever. It's going to be about $3,000. And we're like, that's real steep just to get over there. We don't want this to be a $7,000 trip.
Yep. Yeah. In our case, it was, we had put this travel on a credit card because we had to do it. It was like a home swap. It was way more expensive than it normally is and way more expensive than we wanted it to be. We sort of looked at it like, we can't actually pay for this. Like, we can't pay for it.
Yeah.
So we basically paid the card off with our home equity line, and we have like thousands of dollars that we added to our debt because of this stupid trip. And we're like, we can't do this.
Right.
And I finally was like, look, let's never do this again. So we'll take the year, we'll pay this thing off over the next year. But in the meantime, we can book other travel and not pay for it. Let's do that. So when next year comes around and we're ready to do a home swap next summer, wherever that might be, hopefully that time we don't pay for it, and we never pay for it going forward, or pay as little as possible.
There you go. You got anything else for today, Paul, before we wrap it up?
I didn't think I had anything for today, and then we went off on that weird tangent. But no, I do not. How about you?
I think I'm going to go try to get my driver's license renewed this afternoon, which I'm sure will be a very calm, collective, and I'm hoping my eyeballs are still good experience. I
mean, at this point, it's like an eye test and that kind of thing. You don't have to go out and parallel park like a jerk.
No. I just got to go in there. And the thing that I can never remember is what sort of monetary tool they accept. Is it cash, check, credit?
Yeah, so you just bring everything just in case.
Yep. So.
All right, we'll have fun with that.
Yep. If you see me stressed out, that is why. Or if you see me at the eyeglass doctor, you'll know why as well.
Oh, all right. All right. Good luck.
All right, everybody. Have yourselves a good one, and we'll catch you right back here next time on Travel Hack Daily.